Um, and then next Sunday, I won't be teaching class. I'll be out. But I may send something over just to, good morning, Julia, for something for you guys to work on or have fun with. And so that will be, what's the date? Let's see. So that would be May 2nd. So I thought I'd just let you know. I let Leah know if I'm not going to be in class, I'll send out a little notice, just a reminder through the WhatsApp for you guys too. So I don't know. This week it's been a long week, and so I haven't really been in the mindset of painting. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes like you go to paint and it's just like a disaster. And you're like, this is not a good day. So I don't really know how today's going to go with me. It's been a little rough of a week. So I lost my grandma, and she was older, and it was time, but it's never easy when you lose a family member. So she was the one who introduced me to painting. She was an artist herself. So I miss her. So yeah, so today you may see me just like fumble along, but we'll have fun nevertheless. I hadn't really decided what I wanted to do in terms of underpainting, if I wanted to do a dry or wet. I don't know. What do you guys feel like doing? Do you have a preference?
I always love
wet.
You like the wet? Yeah.
I like the wet.
I like wet.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, yeah, I can do that. You can probably see my mess over here. My goal is to get a bigger studio set up somehow because I'm outgrowing my space. And Leah is like laughing at the size of my little area, but it works for now. Okay, I'll do a wet underpainting. Also, I don't know if you saw in the pictures, but Rembrandt sells these little, well, that wasn't too smart, was it? These little value sets. I just kind of ordered a couple of them. I'll take a picture of it. It's kind of fun for underpaintings, so you don't have to like search around.
Looks like Will's got the whole lot there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think
awesome.
it probably is. Yeah.
So they're kind of handy, and they were only $5.
Great.
So
where did you get them, Marie?
I got them on, I think, Blick.
Okay.
And I thought, well, why these? I mean, it's cheap enough to just even leave it in its little container and just set them aside, you know. And I got, you can choose whatever colors you want, but I got the burnt sienna, and then I got purple. I'm going to use one in the set today. And then I also got a pink one. This is the purple. I'm using one of them today, and then I got pink. So just, it's kind of nice actually to have those handy, especially for our wet underpaintings. All right, let's start. I kind of just set out my border on the pastel paper. I'm doing a larger piece of paper today. I think I might start doing that a little more. Just, I think it's easier for you guys to see. Let's see, let's sketch out. What do I want to do? I'm going to use my dark brown in that little pastel set. And something with landscapes like this, like marshes, rivers, we kind of talked about in the last class about how water seeks level, and it always tends to go flat. So we really want to keep that in mind. I know that when we're doing marshes, even rivers, your tendency is to kind of draw in the actual water, where really what we want to focus on is the land, the bank. The water will appear once we look at drawing in and sketching the shapes of the bank. So the first thing is I'm going to actually use a ruler and get my horizon pretty straight. So if you guys want to do that, you can flip over a piece of paper if that's all you have. And you can guess too, but since I have a ruler handy, I'm just gonna get that sketched in. And let's see here. Oh, we are about a third of the way here. And I'm just using my brown. So the next step in doing our landscape sketching, we want to look at the flat. I'm going to get a red. So we've got, right, it always lays flat. So here's another line. So think about this line here. Then we have right here, lays flat right here. And then you come down, we have another level. This is kind of how I start when I'm looking at where everything is laying with each other. Okay, we've got another kind of bank jutting out right here. And now it is on my picture here, a little dark. Okay. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm not going to worry about these trees right now. I'm just thinking as I'm moving from the horizon down, I'm going to use my ruler. And halfway mark is about right here. So I'm going to go ahead. Doesn't have to be exact, but we kind of want to know where we're starting. This line here is just below the halfway point, if you can see. So I'm just doing little lines just like this. Okay. We're down just a little bit. Okay. So now the idea is we're going to take and we're going to connect these. So we've got our our bank here. And we've got kind of this angle. And now we're going to come and connect these using the side just like this. Okay. And down here. Get that side. Did it? Okay. Then I'm just kind of thinking about this area is just, I'm going to just fill it in with a little bit of this dark, put in the dark layer underneath those grasses. And okay. So at this point, you can kind of see this negative shape of the water right here. And you can kind of see that it's here. And so that's a quick way, instead of drawing out a line, we want to just fill in our bank just like this. And when we do our wet underpainting, we want to preserve these darks in here. That's going to help us anchor that grass. And then I'm going to move to a value lighter. And it's kind of like a true burnt sienna. And I'm going to use this just right below that dark brown, kind of down into the water. Maybe over in here too. Maybe I'll just do all of it. I'm using in the direction of the water. And I know that we're going to wet it with the alcohol, but it helps if we're going to be painting in that direction, we might as well paint with our pastel in that direction. Water lays flat, moving in horizontal, so I'm just going to lay it like that. I'm going to use a value even lighter. And I'm going to come in here and just put some of this light grass. Oops. I guess I could use that for my trees too. The little trees. I'm thinking about the opening here. So we're compositionally, the eye is going to follow through, follow up here, and then come right here to this opening, which works out pretty good. So I'm going to keep that. And got some distant trees in the horizon. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm not going to put really anything into the sky. I think it's this already cream colored. I might just use a little bit of this pastel and kind of, I can, the light color that I have is pretty close to the color that I have on the paper. So it's not that big of a deal. Okay. I will take a picture. This is where we're at. Get a little better here. And I did leave quite a bit of the tooth. You can see the tooth of the paper through the pastel. I didn't press really hard. One thing that I've learned with doing the wet underpaintings is I've pressed really hard and put a lot of paint on there, but then I end up wanting to take some off. So I'm trying to find that sweet spot, depending on what you're painting. With this, I may end up doing or adding more of that brown or a lighter color, and that's okay. But it's harder to take off a bunch more if I don't need to. So, okay, does anyone have any questions you want to send through what you have, or for those if you want me to look at what you drew out, send them through. Is it easier to see it on this bigger sheet of paper for you guys? Yeah, okay. I figured as much. Let's see here. Now I gotta find my brush, wherever I may have thrown that. Okay. Good, Jeannie. This is gonna be fun with all of the grasses too. Which, by the way, these little kit things from nice Julia from Blick, they're actually nice to use for grasses too, like New Pastel. They're kind of harder, and so they can make really nice linear marks for a grass. So those are kind of fun too. So as always with our underpainting, keep sending in your pictures. Let me see. We really want to, good, Nina. Good. Really pay attention to how we're going to use our brush using the alcohol. It's just like what we're going to do in, when we're talking about waves too. So what I mean is we want to indicate the grass is coming up. So we're going to be pulling our brush up just like this. When we are in the distance, things lay flat. So I'm going to be pulling my brush flat. As we move closer, we have more detail. So you're going to see me pulling up more where the grasses are in the front, okay? With water, we're going to be painting horizontally. For the base along these banks, we don't want solid dark lines, okay? Right now it looks that way, and that's okay to start out, but eventually we're going to be adding lighter colors on top. So think about, this is the dirt, and we're going to be just pulling up and then pulling a little bit down into the water for reflection. So let me see. Good, Mira. So Mira, think about bringing on the right-hand side your grasses in a little bit. Look at your negative shape right here.
Okay. Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
So look at where these grasses end. They're almost, look how far in, right?
Yeah.
So we want to bring some of that darkness over here, your dirt.
Okay.
Bring that in a little bit farther. That way your opening of your water isn't too far wide. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Good job. Good, Cindy. So think about your angles, right? I love these color choices, by the way, Cindy. That's going to be really pretty. So look at your lines on the left-hand side. See how how it's at an angle? So my tip is take your paintbrush or your pencil and hold it up here like this and bring it over to your paper and check your angle. Okay?
Okay.
So I would say you need to bring that top left side down a little bit to see where it's almost like angled right to the edge of this tree line. Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Yep, I know. And this is why we want to send them in so I can help you. So that way it makes sense as we move through. Because this is our structure, right? Our base moving forward. We want to make sure we have it right. So angles, all about angles. Okay. As always, we're going to just start with the lightest light, and I'm just going to start in the sky. And personally, I do love the drips made by the pastel and the alcohol, but it's entirely up to you. There you go, Will. Good. Excellent. Okay. So we're just gonna get that. And I'm just painting right along here. Knowing that this is going to be not really vertical yet in painting. Now, when we come here, we can see that grass is standing up. And we also paint in the farthest away here along the horizon more in a flat manner, because that's going to allow us with that perspective piece too. So I'm just going to flick my brush up like this. And I can see that the grass is kind of angling. So I can do that. I haven't tried the Fisher paper, but I hear that it doesn't buckle like UArt. When I apply a lot of rubbing alcohol, sometimes it doesn't like it. So I was going to try that paper out. So I'm going to start just like this. I haven't touched the banks yet. Just letting this dissolve, this paint. And it's okay if we come into behind these grasses, because just remember, this is going to be put on at the very end. So we're thinking beyond these blades of grass, what's anchoring it down. And so that's what we're thinking about right now. I'm flicking up. That kind of comes out. At an angle. Then we have this nice reflection going on here. So I'm going to pull that vertically down. This is our road map. And same with this up here. And then I've got this coming up. Being aware of this angle. Got some grass coming up here. And down here. Doesn't have to be exact. Just in the vicinity. We want to keep this as dark as possible. And we'll come back in with some more darks to reinforce that. But if we don't have our darks, it's just not, our grasses are not going to look right. They're just going to float on top of our water. So we're painting the underneath. Okay. And I pull some of this down. Okay, I've got some trees here. If we make them a little too big, don't stress, because we can cut back in with our sky color. Okay. Okay. I think that's it for that. Let it dry here. Let me see how everyone did. And I'll take a picture. So this buckling is what I'm talking about with UArt. Sometimes it just, I like using a lot of rubbing alcohol, and I know some people get frustrated because it kind of buckles, bends. I've got some more tape. I can hold it down. I've gotten used to it, but I know some people get frustrated because it's not laying flat.
Mine curls all the time anyway, wet or no wet.
Yours buckles?
My paper is just always, it's curled, and even though I'm trying to do the tape like you do, it's still, like when I get to the edges, it's always funky.
Still, oh, okay. I do know, like when they come in the pads, they do, you do kind of have to like tape them down. I've noticed, yeah. But especially with the rubbing alcohol, it really, I might do a class where I can show you how to mount it to foam core. So I did the super simple, and like I did this where I mounted the pastel paper to the foam core. And it's kind of nice because you can actually just plop it up like this and just paint away. And you can use all of your materials, and there's no buckling. So, and I know a lot of artists kind of get tired of that. And it's just taking the extra time. And I recommend mounting the paper before you do the pastel. You can do it after, but it can be a little messy. But super simple. And I probably should get into a better habit of doing that. You know, when we have all our free time, right?
Do you just use spray adhesive to mount it on the foam core?
I don't have spray adhesive. I have, it's called I'll show you. It's mounting adhesive, 3M mount, and so I just pull it out. It's like on a big roll, and you just put it on the foam core and cut it, and then you peel it back, and then you put the sandpaper on. It's archival, so it's not going to hurt the paper or do anything to the artwork itself. And you can get it on Amazon. You can get it wherever. It has like a little scraper that you can use to make sure it's flat, and then it has a piece that you lay on top. But like I said, it becomes a little trickier with all of the pieces that I've already painted on. And you can, yeah, that just goes down that path of how do you want to protect it. Okay, let me see everyone's. Nice. Good, Jeannie. Great. Good, Mira. Yep. I would take, you did a really good job, Mira, on getting that line over there on the left-hand side. Very nice. Like you really paid attention to that angle. And then down here, I would just take that dark. So see how it's all covered on mine?
Yeah.
Just pull the rest of that dark down into your, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Good job. Yeah. Good, Will. Nice. Are you liking your set?
It's fine. I think I'm using exactly the same colors as you at the moment.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Because it feels good to like have the supplies. Nice, Julia. Very good. Yeah. Woohoo. I know. This is so true. Okay. Let's begin. All right. I'm just going to go right into the sky and kind of work my way down. This is printed off my printer, so it's not going to be probably as exact of the picture that I sent in, but I'm okay. I think this is a little bit more bright in the browns, but I kind of actually like it because it was a little bit more dull in the actual picture. So, which is fine. That is our goal, right? Is to do what we need to do to make it more and make it better. So let's see. I'm going to start at the very top. And this is kind of a periwinkle. I'll send pictures over of my blues. I've got a range of blues and purples. So I always know I can calm down the blues with my whites. So I can come in a little darker at the horizon or at the top, and then come over with my lighter color. This is, I'll take a picture. It's that little tiny piece in my picture to the top left. Pretty simple sky. As we know, what is in the sky is reflected in the water. So we will be bringing some of this down into the water too. We also know as we come down farther to the horizon, it gets warmer and lighter generally. We know it's a warmer day in this picture because it's sunny and obviously it's daylight. So I'm gonna pick a lighter blue. And this is called optical mixing, where we're just taking the pastel over another pastel and mixing the two. Now I will come back in with another blue. it's just back and forth, back and forth. I'm using my finger. You can use a blending tool if you want, but I'm just kind of I want this to be blended. And the reason is if it was all about sky today, I'd probably not do as much as blending because I do like kind of that texture. But since the water is the main focus and the grass is in the front, the less detailed and the less texture that I have competing with it is what I want. So you always kind of want to think about what your focal point is. That's always generally going to have the most detail. You're drawing the eye to it with contrasting lines or angles. I'm going to go another shade lighter. And notice I haven't used white because I wouldn't use white. What I'd probably use is a creamy yellow for those clouds. And I can add those in here in a little bit. And it's okay bringing that sky right over the line a little bit. I'm just going to come right over these trees. And creamy yellow. Let's see. I'm just kind of dragging it. This is kind of like a hard pastel. So. Come back up here. And set aside those sky colors because again, we're going to be bringing those down into the water. What's up in the sky is what's reflected. I'm also thinking about dragging the clouds kind of at an angle this way because again, compositionally, we want the viewer to come through the painting, to come up here to this, and then continue with those clouds. So always thinking compositionally, how can I keep the viewer engaged, moving through the painting, and I like these clouds. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Take a picture. Okay. So one thing that I know we've talked about almost every class obviously is perspective and landscape. We know as we move back in the distance, things get cooler, duller, lighter, bluer, for the most part. So when we look at a picture like this and I see those trees and they're dark, but in our painting, we're not going to be painting them dark like that. And why is because our darks up in the front would be competing with those dark trees in the back, and we wouldn't be able to get that perspective. So we really want to make sure that we paint those distant trees cooler and lighter than what they appear in the picture. So this painting will read right. So when I'm thinking about what do I want to add, what colors do I want to do, you know, I'm thinking, okay, well, in my palette, I've got blues and purples. So I have like this dull, darker blue, and it's okay to start out darker. We can layer on top of it. And so we're going to try this out and see how it looks. Like I said, this is kind of like a dull, darker blue. I'll send a picture so you can see. Good, Linda. Very nice. So I'm going to just lightly, now see these trees are all straight in a line. It's kind of boring to me, so I'm not going to do a straight line. I'm going to give a little more character. We get to do that. It's okay to go up into the sky. Remember, it's back and forth. We don't make them too big. I might have made them too big. We'll find out here. I'm going to drag this light or this blue right across. And I'm going to come back in with my sky. Let's see here. I'm going to create a soft edge because we don't want hard edges because this is in the distance. And if we were standing there, we wouldn't be able to see every tree limb. We could just see a little bit of it. So I'm using my hard pastel to just kind of come around these trees and soften the edges and blend. And you can use your finger too. That's okay. They're just in the distance. And I may add a little bit more variety of color to them, but at this moment, I'm just going to let them sit. I'm going to continue with this kind of light color along that horizon here.
So Marie, you're doing that with a blue, is that right? Is that a blue?
Is what?
Sorry, you're doing that with a blue, is that right? The one
Yeah.
that you said.
Yeah, I used the muted blue for the distance, and now I'm using this creamy yellow it's almost like a new pastel. And I'm just coming down and blending in and softening those edges. And I'll take a picture. We want them distant, so we don't want them popping forward and competing. So right now, I'm like, well, I'll I'll come in here and just carve around them however I want. And we're going to come back to them because we may need to do something different to these. Maybe we need to add a little bit of maybe another layer of color. I don't know yet. But right now, this is kind of where we're going to be. And just a suggestion. So yeah, good question. I'll take a picture of that. And I'm not really too fond of this, maybe the gap. I might come back and shave some of that off. And I can do that just like that. So don't spend too much time in one area. Just put it down, let it be, move to the next. So go ahead and send stuff through if you guys want me to look at anything. If you have questions about that color. Okay. Ooh, Jeannie's going for some purple. Woohoo. Nice.
I find I'm always in the purples and the pinks.
Yeah, isn't it fun? Yeah, I have purples on my palette too. Okay, so let's start moving down. I'm going to go ahead and add some color in the distant field. And so we've got kind of a mix of some muted browns, and I'll show you what I have. Yes. Okay, great, Mira. All right, so now that sky looks great. You did a good job blending. Very nice. Good job.
Thank you.
So what we want to do is now when you come up with our color right along the horizon, we're going to blend so we don't have that real
Line.
right
Yeah.
warm line, okay? So we're going to see it, but we're going to come right along with our color. Good. Good, Cindy. Yeah. Nice. Good blending. Okay. So let's see here. I'm gonna kind of go back in with some of that color that I had. Okay. I'm just looking. I grabbed sticks, but like I said, this is my first go around. I'm kind of like, Oh, good, Julia. Yeah. Great. So I'm going to show you the browns I have here. Do you see how they're kind of dull and cooler? So just something to think about. Right at the horizon, we can lay a nice bright line if we want, but not too much because we don't want it to be too bright and competing with our front. So we always start with the darks underneath and then layer to the lights. So I'm going to go with, it's kind of a nice color already, so I'm not going to do a whole lot here. I'm going to just add a little bit of some more variation of some darks in here. This is a muted brown, and I'll take a picture like so you can kind of see. Let me clean it up for you. Well, that was not a good picture. It was blurry. Okay. So I'm just kind of adding some variation here in the grass because I'm gonna lay some lights over it. This is a new pastel. It's more of a warm yellowy brown. I'll tone it down, but this is going to be a good blending along that horizon. Just softening it. And I'm actually bringing just a little bit of this up into that tree because I don't want it too, I don't want a line. So. There. Okay, now let's go back with that. And let's see. It's kind of a still going vertical. Okay. And let's see. That's too light. This might be. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty golden. Kind of want. Digging for some colors here. It's kind of like a peachy brown. It's getting close. Dark. There we go. And just it's better to have variations. Okay. And then what I want is a shade lighter than this. I only have hundreds of pastels and it always seems I can't find the right color. Okay. But light. Okay, that's good. So we're going to just continue down. Let's reinforce these darks. Does anyone have any questions? I'm just kind of moving through here. All right. Let's reinforce the darks with a couple darks, same values. I've got kind of like a dark brown and a dark purple. I'll show you. I'm going to add these into our banks. And And I can hold off, you guys, if you need more time. No rush. I can, if you want to send in what you have, I can, Linda and Nina, that's okay. We're just kind of plugging around, and that was kind of bothering me. As with everything, I know that sometimes it seems or appears that it's gonna not take very long. And then you get into the painting and you're like, oh, this is a lot more than I thought. And that's okay. So one thing I do know is when I'm looking here at this distant bank, there's a little bit of dark here and a little bit of dark. So what it's telling me is that, you know, the sun's probably pretty straight up, maybe just a little bit angling, because it seems like it's a little bit warmer on this side than it is on this side. So when I'm thinking and looking, this stretch right here, I don't want a solid dark line. So what I'm thinking about now is reinforcing the darkest areas that I see. So I see a couple spots here, and a couple spots, or a spot over here. I see it's still fairly dark moving down along the marsh, and fairly dark over here, maybe a little bit over here. So when I'm going into my next step, now I'm really looking at just those dark spots. So with the two colors I have, the purple and brown, I'm just going to go in and just add some color. I'm just going to put some purple over here. Why am I using purple over here and maybe not over here? It's warmer, and color is relative when you set it next to each other. So when I set that purple to that brown, the brown is going to actually read cooler. So with the sun being kind of angling to this right side, we have more shadow on the left side. So I'm going to be using this darker brown. I can use a little bit of purple. It's not going to be a big deal, but just get in training yourself of thinking, where am I going to lay what color? So now I'm just kind of coming back in and re-establishing the bank just a little bit, pulling up in the direction. This is our dirt. And then I'm going to take my finger and pull some of that down into the water, just a little bit. I've got some coming out here, some more over here. A little darker over here. Why am I dragging it? Because it's reflecting in the water. We're thinking about the last piece is just like the last painting we did, or the waterfall or the flowers. That water is going to be the last bit that we're going to lay over the top. So we're thinking, what is underneath this reflection? The blue is actually because of the sky, right? But we know it's kind of shallow because we can see a rock in here. I'm not going to paint the rock today, but what it's telling me is that it's going to be more dirt colored. It's going to be more muddier because it's shallower. As we get deeper in water, it's going to be greener and bluer. So I'm going to be looking at the colors that I'm going to lay underneath this reflective as more browns and dark greens and muddier colors. Also, we have the reflection of the dead grass too, but just for you to know, that's what I'm thinking. And let's see here. Plus, I like adding some purple in here. Might even add some purple up in here too. Okay. I'll send a picture over. Oh, I forgot to do these. The idea is we're just going to build our grasses along and our marsh will just appear. It's kind of fun. Okay. Let's use some greens to add in our water. So I've got a range of greens here, like army greens. I've got some warmer and a cooler for the shadow. I'll take a picture. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in the cooler green. And I'm just going to add a little bit, just a little. Not a whole lot. And I'm going to take this dark green just add it over here. Or that kind of dark. Maybe a little bit more down over here. Okay. Just a little bit here. Just a little bit. I'm just using my finger and I'm dragging horizontally and then bringing it down vertically. Okay. Because we're still building this up. Okay. I'll take a picture. You guys want to send in? Okay, Nina, let's see. All right. So what I would say at this point is take your middle color, your brown color, and now what you're going to do is bring that and carve out your negative shapes. So I want you to take your brown pastel, hold it like this, and come in and get your angles and think of the water over here, okay? So I'll show you what I'm talking about. With your pastel, you're going to come in, right? And you're going to create these with your pastel, your brown pastel. Okay. And I'm sending it to you. Okay, do you see that, Nina? Hopefully. All right, good, Will. Okay, same thing. So now so what we're gonna do is we're gonna, and it might help too, I can see it, but just for you visually is to come in and kind of like, here's my bank, right? Just,
Yeah.
so when we're getting ready to put on our grass, we're going to hit the tops and keep the darks. And then this is our reflection where our green. And so I can see it, but it might help if you want to take a little pencil or, you know, and just kind of remind yourself. I can see the layers, but, you know, where we're going to be adding these grasses. So that's just good. Okay. So let's do that. So again, same thing. We're going to just kind of layer up on the colors. I've got some really fun like purples. So these are more on the violet range. They kind of have red to them. So I'll lay them out here so you can see. Let me, okay. Okay. So let's go, what's this color? So I'm going to hold my pastel on its side and I'm just kind of dragging a little bit into the dark, just a little. Just a little. I don't care if I come over here. I can add a little bit over here. Okay. Go to my next. It's kind of more red to it. That's okay. It's kind of warm. So I'm just going to add it to the areas where I see more sunlight. So that has more sunlight, maybe a little bit right in here because it kind of pops out. Okay, take a picture so you can see. Okay. Let's go with, this is going to be a muted violet. And again, I'm just layering on top. And no, the color isn't violet, but it has violet tints to it with this dead grass. And so I'm picking up some of that. This is where I'm getting this purple. Okay. Not doing a whole lot, just okay. So let's do, what color is this? And that's a little dark. That's okay. Let's do this. This is kind of a muted brown. Okay. Let's see. Kind of need. Just gonna. Okay. Kind of just coming into these edges of the grasses. And let's see. Yeah, that might work. Okay. Just checking that out. Okay. All right, let's get a little bit of this water done, and then I think I'm gonna fix it with some spray fix, so then we can have the reflection of the water lay on the actual muddy part of this marsh. It's gonna give it like a really nice texture. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe get some of this reflection down here, this brown, where it's sunny. And then use my lighter brown here, because I know it's lighter. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna come right into some more muddy waters. And might bring just a little bit of a green. That's too light. Let's see, sorry guys. Mm, think I do. This is that dark green. Really establishing that shadow right underneath the grass.
Hmm.
Right at that base. And then we kind of have like this, oh, that's too dark. Warmer green over here, right? Underneath that water. I kind of don't want to lose that. So I'm going to come in and lay that down. A little bit here. Even have a little bit of that green in here. Let me see, Jeannie. Ooh. All right, so yeah, so I already see the water. What I would do now is look at your lines on the left-hand side. So look how it kind of stair steps, right? So it kind of comes here and then we have it level out and then it comes down and then levels out. So I would just kind of get back in there and then like your dark blue line, I'd pull that down and blend it right into your purples.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Go ahead, you guys send over. I'll send another picture in kind of what this looks like. I know it still looks kind of funky, but this is how we're going to lay the green or the blue pastel over it. And so you're going to see how it's going to float right over these colors. It's all about building and building up this. I know that it's patience, a lot of patience. Ooh, I love it, Natalia. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the trick that you're going to have, like when we lay the water, I mean, it looks so cool. You could just leave it like that. But what we're going to do when we lay the water is let some of that shine through. And then we'll have little bits coming across these darker areas, and you'll see that water just lay and reflect. It'll just look just like water. So, and then once we do the water, then we can add the grasses, because this will be the ending piece that it will just kind of come right over our water. So I'm going to spray mine with fixative. If you have hairspray, you can. You don't have to spray it if you don't want to. I'm going to. Just lightly. I didn't do too much. Ugh, stinky. If I held it up really close, it would darken it, which is fine actually. Sometimes like preserving these dark areas, it can be tough. But I didn't want to get it too dark. Okay. How's everyone else doing? Do you want to send over pictures where you're at if you need help with anything?
I am struggling today with my colors and
Yeah.
struggling to keep up with you today.
It's okay. I hear you, Julia. This whole week has been kind of like crazy, and I think also my printed picture, like I said, is a little different than the picture that I sent. It almost seems like it's brighter, which is okay, right? I mean, that's what I said. Like Marsha's, you think it's super simple, right? It's a lot. And I'm kind of just fumbling through it with you too. I mean, I'm trying to do different colors and see what looks right. So
Also, at first glance, it doesn't look like there's much color in it.
And then you realize there is.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's nuts.
I know. I agree with you. I think that's when I notice that, Jeannie, especially is when I'm looking at pulling out colors for my palette. I start thinking, okay, what's going to be my dirt? You know, what's going to be my sky? What's going to be my grasses? How do I make it not boring? How do I make it more interesting? So that's when I know immediately when I get into this, I'm thinking, oh, geez, this is going to be a lot more than I thought, which is fine. So I'm going to just go right into my blues, and I'm going to just drift it right over horizontally. This is kind of a darker cobalt blue. And let's see, what color is this? Another dark blue. And it kind of comes to the tip there. And this. Another reason why I fixed it is that I know I'm going to bring in some lighter colors to bring down, and then it would be mixing with the greens and then the blues, and so fixing it really helps too. I'm going to bring in some dark blue. And let's see, even just a little bit of that. Let's try this. Just a little. And then, okay. And this is like a dark purple. And let's see. Carry it right over. Okay. And let's see, kind of got ends here. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna get some of these. And I need to get a little darker. Okay. And just blending here a little bit. the middle tone. And then bringing that down. Angling just a little bit. Okay. This is just a hard pastel, and just bring some of that color down in here. What I'm doing is I'm connecting these layers of colors that we have been laying down. So let's see. And I don't know where it went. There it is. And probably use more of a warmer orangey color, maybe on the tops here, because we know that sun's kind of hitting it. Maybe a little bit down in here. Okay. And then I need a lighter, cooler for that back grass. To push it back. Okay. And I'll come back in. Probably with that darker brown again. Just kind of come up here and re-establish those dark areas here. Just like that. This one kind of likes to come out just a little bit. Okay. Okay. That's okay, Nina. That's fine. So in your water area, go ahead and that picture that I sent you that to carve out for the water, go ahead and go back through with your brown, your light brown. Can you do that? Okay. Yeah, good. So keep carving out. So take your pastel, and what you want to do is see there's a line that comes out here on the right hand side. So take your pastel like this and pull that reflection down into the water, rather than going and drawing along the edge. You want to come along the edges and pull vertically down. Yeah, good, Cindy. Okay, so now come back in on your dark areas. So see how I came back in, and hold your pastel, like your dark purple, and I want you to come in just like this and reestablish these straighter lines. So see how your edge is going kind of just at an angle like this. You want to come in and kind of just start here and pull up a little bit, start here, pull up, and put in these really dark areas, and it's going to create more depth. Good, Mira. That's looking great. Same with you. Now look, squint your eyes, look at the picture. Where do I see those really dark areas? Again, take your dark pastel, and you're going to start right at the base, and you're going to just kind of go up very lightly in a stroke.
Okay.
Okay, and then blend, and then soft edges on either side a little bit.
Okay. Thanks.
And yeah, this is looking great.
Thanks.
Good. Yeah, reflections is tough, you guys. It's not as easy as you think, because it's like I said, you're painting everything above is going down into the water, so you're trying to bring that color down, and of course it's a little darker than what is above, right, because it's in shadow. And so you know, you're just trying to bring those colors down into the water to then add your colors, your watercolors. And I'm just at the very edge, flicking up with my pastel to create that break. I got some grass hanging out over here. I got some reflections here, right? Okay. I'm just gonna like that. Great, Jeannie. So now what we want to do is we want to vary our colors within our grasses. So like, see how you did a really great job on the left-hand side with your nice warm orangey brown, and then maybe add a little more of that orangey brown in little areas along your bank. Continuing up just a little bit here and there. Maybe take some of that orangey brown and bring it into your dark area. As we use the colors, we kind of want to move them throughout the painting. So that way it's all cohesive. I'm just gonna lay this in. Okay. And now we kind of want to drift this just a little bit, just like that. And just along the edges here where the sun's hitting it. Maybe a little bit on here. But really, that blue is kind of coming back in here. And actually just having a little bit like that. Soften it because we don't want hard edge. And then we kind of have a brighter area in here. Okay. Nice, Natalia. Good. Go ahead and I'd probably add that darker green blue up in your sky a little bit and mix it with your lighter blue just so it's not too bright.
Okay.
And then now you're ready to pop on our lights for our grasses. And I have, I'll take a picture here. Good job.
Thank you.
Hard pastels. It's got some green, brown, kind of just variation of colors here. Maybe even use some purple. You know, it's kind of like a cool purple. That might be good to.
Now do my grasses need more blending? I just sent you a new pic.
Okay. Yeah, so I think they're fine. I mean, I would just be cautious of doing all your lights equally all over. So we want to really look at we've got our eye is being directed. So we kind of want to maybe pop some lights right kind of on the edges. Not so much in here. So if I would say anything, maybe down along this area, I would kind of bring that down a value. That way you're not having totally like a line right here. And that way then we're kind of just seeing the grasses along the edge of the marsh. That's what I would suggest doing. But I love the water and the reflection. It's really, really cool. Yeah. And I would also lighten up your trees in the distance. Okay. So let's do some trees. Let's do some grasses. I'm just gonna use my hard pastel. Just bring them in. Varying the heights. Again, just we're gonna build up. And let's see, what color is this? Ooh, that's a bright red. I don't think I want to do that. Let's try this. And got some brighter grasses here. And got a few grasses there. Not too much, just enough. Need it brighter. That might be too bright. Let's do, I need more of a, there we go. This is a square pastel and they're great for grasses. Okay. And we'll come back in with lighter. Then this is where we go back and forth, you know, it needs to be a little lighter behind it, behind those grasses. So let me see. It's kind of peachier and I don't really want, maybe I'll lighten it up with that. I really don't want it all the same height either. So I'm just gonna put a little bit like that. A little bit up here too. This is where the lights are. You have to be, if you do too much lights everywhere, then it's not gonna read right. So we're just thinking, where's the sun hitting and where do we want? A little bit over here. Just a little, not a whole lot. Okay. And let's see here. That's too yellow. Nope. That might not be too bad, putting in just some brights. Okay. We have a lot more that you can do. Okay, good, Mira. Good. So now what you get to do, the fun part is with your grasses. Now what you get to do is you get to come in with your hard pastel and you get to just go like this and just kind of bring those right like that right out into the water. So that way you don't have the evenness all around there, right? Because you see those blades coming right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I want you to do right up in here and where you see the grass breaking that plane of water.
Okay.
You see some more stalks of grass right in here. You get to add that.
Okay.
And so, and what I would do is maybe even bring some of that lighter color, right? Just bring it down a little bit. So you can just take that top light color and use your pastel and just kind of bring it down so you can see a little those blades.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Good job, you guys. Good, Linda. Very nice. Yeah, I like how you're adding the blades of grass. See how it gives it more detail. The reflection looks really good in the water too.
Thanks.
Good. How are you doing, Nina? Still working at it. This is something that we can just keep working at and working at, you know. I'm just glazing some light purple to kind of just cool it down a little bit. But this was a tricky one. Once again, Yeah, that's good. How are you doing, Cindy? How did everything go? Well, Natalia?
I just
Yeah.
sent mine, but I don't not sure. Maybe I overdid it with the grasses.
Yeah,
I just like the texture so much, and I just kept adding light.
yep. No, that's okay. So, and I like the texture too. So what you can do now is you can come back in with your darks and then pull those blades down. So like,
Mhm.
see how on the left-hand side of your, those grasses right here?
Yes.
Those are
Mm.
amazing. That's exactly what you want. So you took your pastel and then you drag it up. So you can just do that with your others. Just pull some of that lighter color down into your dark to create blades. Yeah,
Oh,
much better. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, yep. Now you're ready to add those grasses here in the front. Your water
Yeah.
looks really good. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the blue in the center, the water reflection, take it and lightly take your blue like this and just kind of come off to the edge and not even, and it will give it more of a water effect.
Okay. Lovely. Thank
So
you.
you just lightly glaze over and yeah,
Yeah, I see. Thanks.
you see, yeah, excellent. There you go, Jeannie. Yeah. And I would even break up that lighter pinky color right here in the horizon. I would just pull it down or maybe add just a little darker color on it just to break up that line. Because we try to get away from just, you know, a straight. But yeah, trees look good. Sky, very nice. Good job, you guys. Now we will be off to waves. They'll be fun. Go ahead and keep sending stuff over if you need help with anything. I don't mind helping out. So, and I'm gonna, this is recorded, so I'm gonna stop recording now and then I'll upload it for Leah